everybody, what's going on? You guys doing all right? Okay, I hope you're all doing very well. So tonight I'm having a special treat. My wife made me some homemade chocolate chip cookies. She totally surprised me too. I had no idea she was gonna make them. She loves baking though. She's always making cookies and cakes and those cheesecakes I've done in my previous videos. So she just loves baking stuff like that. So we've got the cookies. Got a nice mug of milk with my favorite mug with all my sayings on there. That's the best mug ever. So cookies and milk, and I've got some actually 3 different stories I was going to tell you guys, and they're all kind of intertwined into one big story, okay? So I've had a lot of requests to do some more stories, so this is a really good one. I think you guys are going to like it, okay? And make sure and let me know what you think in the comments below about the different stories and how they all relate to one another, okay? So first things first, okay, you guys sit back, relax, put your feet up, okay? Don't worry about a thing. You just hang out with me for a while, okay? And I hope you enjoy my story. First, we'll start with one of these cookies. Actually, I better give you a up-close view here so you guys can see what these look like, okay? Hopefully I won't spill any. Okay. These are gonna be so good, so let me try a couple of these cookies and we'll start the story, okay? Those are so good, you guys. Let's do one more. I think there's a couple different kinds here. Some of them are just regular chocolate chip, and I think she added some peanut butter to some of them too, so it's like a peanut butter chocolate chip cookie. Alright, so recently we moved my mother-in-law to a apartment building. She moved from the home that she lived in for probably the last 60 years. She's just getting older, and it's a good idea for her to be around people that can look in on her and give her the medical attention that she needs if she needs any. She was living in a 5-bedroom home all by herself, so isn't that crazy? 5 bedrooms. But it's my wife's mom and dad, when they bought that house, it was just a 2-bedroom home, and there's a lot of kids in that family though. They had 9 kids. There's 5 sisters and 4 brothers, so isn't that crazy? And it was a lot of kids to grow up in that one little house. So every time they had a kid, they just added on a room somewhere. They had the garage was attached to the house, so when the first room addition came about, they turned the garage into a bedroom. So, and then they just kept going. Every time they had another child, they would just add another room on somewhere. My wife's dad, he was a real handyman. He was great at carpentry work and brick work, and so he had no problem adding on to the house. He did all the work himself too, with the help of the kids, of course. So, but she was, sad to move, but it's just, I think you get up to a point in time in life when you know it's time to move on, and it was definitely time. She loves her new place too, so that's what counts. Yeah, once a month they have a big lunch there, and my wife and I will go out and have lunch with her. So she's settling in pretty good. Okay, so that's the first part of the story was, the mother-in-law moving out of the house that all the kids grew up in. It was, I'm sure, quite some times growing up in that house with all those kids, but they did what they had to do, and the house served its purpose, and she's in a much better place now. So we're gonna go back about 5 years now, 5 or 6 years. I think most of you guys know that I just love my yard. I'm always out there fertilizing my grass and planting flowers, and it's relaxing for me to take care of my yard. And the one thing with my yard though is every spring I get really excited. Especially right now, I've got tulips coming up and lilies and a couple other flowers out there that come up. But the thing with the ones that come back every year, especially the tulips and the lilies, they come up, they grow, and they get that nice, beautiful flower on there, and then the flower falls off, and it's just a green plant for the rest of the year. So, what fun is that? So about 5 or 6 years ago, I was looking for something that would come back every single year, but would also bloom and flower all year long. So while I was out at the flower shop, a guy told me to buy some 4 o'clocks. They would grow and they would bloom and they would come back every year. So, and they would bloom all year long, and that's exactly what I wanted. So I bought all these 4 o'clocks, and they started growing. I planted them all along the side of my house, and they started growing, and they were getting big and tall and nice and green and bushy, and I was so excited. I know this is a long story, you guys. Just stick with me, okay? So in the meantime, while I'm planting my 4 o'clocks and watching them grow, and those things get tall too. Like if you plant them in the spring, by the time they start growing, they could be, 3 or 4 feet tall by the, end of the summer, end of the fall. They got so big they were like hanging out into my driveway, and I had to, get stakes and tie them up and whatnot. But, well, that year that I had my 4 o'clocks, my father-in-law was really, really sick. He had a massive stroke, and he just wasn't the same after that. It was a life-changing event. He was in pretty bad shape after that, and trips in and out of the hospital, and he had several little mini strokes after that. So it was pretty tough on the whole family. So my 4 o'clocks, they were growing, and I could see the little buds, the blooms of the flowers on there, and the plants themselves kept getting taller, and the buds kept getting bigger and bigger, and they never bloomed, and I was like, these are the worst plants ever. They got these silly little buds on there, and they're never gonna bloom, and those buds were on there for like months. It seemed it was well into the summer months, June and July, and I had these big green plants with these little tiny flowers on there, and they never opened up. It was just, I was so disappointed. But we had a lot more important things going on with my father-in-law being sick, and it was just a tough time. So they ended up taking him to hospice, and once you go to hospice, that's pretty much it. They just try and make you as comfortable as they can, and the end is pretty much near when you go to hospice. And my wife, she says, should I go see Dad, or maybe I don't want to see him? And I'm like, well, everybody's different. You just got to make up your own decision. For me personally, my aunt died a few years ago, and I didn't want to go see her, because she had cancer really bad, and I just wanted to remember, the good memories that I had of her. I didn't want to see her like that. So, but everybody's different. I told my wife, I'm like, you need to decide what you want to do, and whatever you do, I'll go there with you if you want to see him, or if you don't, that's totally your choice. So she said, I think I want to go see him. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll go tomorrow then. So we went and seen him. It was, the middle of the afternoon, and he was pretty bad, but, we went and we sat with him for a while and talked to him, and, told stories and whatnot, and basically said our goodbyes, and we went home. Okay, so I had to work that day, and I went to work, and I came home, and I work really weird hours. I don't get home until the middle of the morning. So I ate something, went to bed, and sure enough, the next morning the phone's ringing, and it was the hospice. My wife's dad had passed away, and I was so glad that we had a chance to go and see him and say goodbye. And I think he was kind of like waiting for that, because he was in the hospice for a while, and I just think it's so strange that he died the very next day. So of course, when something like that happens, there's a lot to do. So we had to go, and I was really just there for like moral support for the family and whatnot. But it was a really busy day that first day, and we were just running around, and just there was so much to do, and well, that day when I finally got back home, it was like 6 or 7 o'clock at night, And those 4 o'clocks had bloomed the biggest blooms you could ever imagine. They were the most beautiful flowers. Isn't that crazy? They sat there all closed up, tight as could be, and the day my father-in-law dies, they open up wide as can be. I just think that's so crazy. So the third part of the story, that at the beginning of this video when I was telling you about my mother-in-law moved out of that house, there was so much time spent in that house with all the 9 kids, and then eventually some nieces and nephews, and 60 years of being in that house. Well, their address of that house that they all grew up in was 635. And when we got the call that morning that my wife's dad had passed away, he died at exactly 6:35. Isn't that bizarre? So, you guys tell me what you think of that story. They're all 3 stories intertwined into one big story, and it's just some people say it's coincidence. I don't know. I think everything happens for a reason. So, but I hope you guys enjoyed that story, and I'm sure you guys are gonna let me know in the comments what you think. Okay. Sorry, you guys, a little more talking than eating in this one, but my last video was a no talking one, so you guys know me. I try and mix it up the best I can. That way everybody has something to watch and enjoy. My father-in-law, though, he worked well over 60 years of his life. He had 2 separate jobs that he had over 30 years time in. Isn't that crazy? I believe he worked well into his 80s. I know. You guys probably all have goosebumps right now just thinking about that story. It's a really strange story. I get goosebumps every time I tell it, so. I have a lot of stories that I tell over and over and over and over again to different people. You know, the same story, and it's just like, you know, it's just, I don't know. Sometimes when I tell those stories, it comes out a little different each time, but I get the same reaction from everybody I tell it to. those were so good. What a nice surprise, too. By the way, I still have those 4 o'clocks out along the side of the house. They're right in the center of those beautiful flowers. There's a little seed that grows, and eventually the seed falls out and it just goes into the ground, and the following year it grows again. They're the most amazing flowers. So one year I took and I took a bunch of the seeds and I took them over to my mom's house, and now she's got the same 4 o'clocks at her house to come back every year. So, well, anyway, I think that's about it, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed that story. It's I've been wanting to tell that one for a while, but you know, I knew I had to be in the right mindset to tell it because you know, it's kind of sad, and you know, I was just hoping I'd be able to make it through. So I think I did all right. So, but anyway, that's it for tonight. As always, thanks for hanging out with me. I really enjoyed it. Okay, thanks for subscribing and all of your amazing comments. I really love reading them. So keep them coming. It's a real bright part of my day. Okay. All right, you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.